right. It is we're gonna call it 5:30, call the meeting to order. We have a quorum that is 6 of 7, with Betsy not being here, but she notified us ahead of time. Does anyone have any additions or adjustments to the agenda? Brian or Karen?
I just wanted to give a couple of updates when it comes around to my turn.
All right, we'll just do that, other items. All right, next is the consent agenda. Approve the minutes of November 20th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Anyone have any questions, comments, corrections? All in favor? Opposed? And abstained. That was 6-0. I don't know why I kept asking.
But you were looking at me thinking I was gonna vote. I can't vote on this committee.
You can, but don't count.
Yeah, it won't count. Exactly, it wouldn't count. Yeah.
All right, next, we have audience with the public. Is there anyone who wanted to say anything? All right. So, Brian, I guess you're up. Action items, or Brian or Karen, you guys can rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Recommend to the full board to authorize lease purchase of a new school bus.
I tend to defer to the boss when it comes to money,
And
because she does a pretty good job with it.
I've never understood the rock, paper, scissors thing, because I don't understand how paper beats a pair of scissors or a rock, so I'll do it.
Well, it doesn't beat the-
Last year you voted during budget season for us to buy a new school bus, so normally that would be the end of the board's involvement, except for any notes or any loans we take out that are greater than 100,000 have to be opined on by the attorneys before the bank will grant us the money. So this school bus, even with us making a payment upon delivery, we'll still have to take out a note greater than $100,000. So the finance committee has recommended to the full board for the school bus, and now we need the facilities committee to do the same. The school bus costs $180,822.95. It is I believe an 84-seat school bus. It's a flat nose. One of the first we've purchased since I've been here. Actually, I think it's the first, it'll be the only one in the fleet right now, but it's.
Bernie, do you remember the last time that we had a flat nose in the fleet?
No, so it's been over 17 years.
Yeah.
So it gives us a little more capacity, in case, the times that we do have to drop down a route and have bus drivers pick up other children on other routes, so it does give us that capacity. Part of the other reasons that it's more expensive is it came with the cameras, so instead of adding them on after, it came with the radio in it, and it also had tariffs on it.
And so basically,
So I'll move that we recommend to the full board that we buy this bus.
Second.
go ahead, Josh.
I just kind of have a nerdy question. Are the flat nose buses coming back in style, or is it are they both just on the market?
The driver that will be the operator on it was the one who came to us with it. It gives her better visibility. There are some benefits to the short nose bus that I would not say are specific to this area. Certainly in towns and things, the short nose buses are a lot easier to negotiate. So that'll be helpful. It's got a larger capacity, and that was the primary driving forces for it.
One thing to note too, this is one of the first buses we're purchasing with the full suite of cameras that we talked about last budget cycle. That's another thing that's inflating the price. But as you mentioned in finance earlier, we'll have cameras looking 360 inside and 360 outside. So,
I want to clarify one thing on that. So those cameras, we do not have a heads-up display in the bus, so that's not seeing that. That is all going to a DVD recorder. So that is all post. It's not necessarily something that's going to help us, actually at the moment.
yeah, but it's useful for.
But it is absolutely
After
useful,
the fact.
yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Anyone have any other questions before we vote?
I just have one. I guess out of curiosity, what's the difference in cost between the other kind of buses that we have and this bus? Like, is it enormously more expensive, or?
I can't say because as far as it being a flat nose, like, we didn't do a comparison of flat nose to regular this time around. The last bus we bought was somewhere around 160,000, but it was 18 months ago. We had some supply issues that got hung up in manufacturing, so the last bus, there was a pretty big lag between purchasing buses for a while. So some of it is just the fact that everything is going up in price, more so than the fact that it's a bigger bus. The tariffs were, I think, $5,000, the cameras were slightly more, but overall, it's really just the fact that it's been 18 months or more since we've purchased a school bus. I think the first bus we purchased when I got here was 120, so they've just gone up that much in 6 years.
Wow.
Okay, the motion is to recommend to the full board the purchase of the new school bus. All in favor? 6-0. Okay, now updates.
Yeah, couple of personnel updates. Some bad news is Dave Jacoby, who has been a long-time driver with RSU 40, drives the southern route of Waldoboro, which is kind of down 220, Fintown, back around. He will be, his last day will be next Tuesday. He will be retiring. We certainly wish he and his wife a happy and long retirement. That obviously left us with a pretty big void in Waldoboro. But to that, I'm happy to report that we've hired Matt Simmons back, who was previously with us driving in Waldoboro. We hired him back, and we anticipate that he will be able to start when we coming back on the 5th of January. So that's on the transportation side, so we're kind of holding status quo. The status quo isn't bad right now. On the facility side, pending CHRC, I have hired a new maintenance technician as well as the one empty slot for the night custodian at Madomic Middle School. So we're starting to fill those up as well. So, and several other applicants that we're still going through the interview process with. So, right now, the last big one will be getting Warren filled up. We've shifted a bunch of custodians over there. Paul Huber, who takes care of he hasn't been here cleaning in a couple of months. He was at the high school for a while, he was at the middle school for a while, and now he's been at Warren. Both cleaning, but primarily doing some training with a new custodian. So, we're hopeful that we can maybe even get to the point where we have a full house in facilities here in the coming time, so that would be exciting.
Good question.
Go ahead.
Back on buses. Given in light of tragic events that have recently happened in the past couple of months, are our bus drivers feeling comfortable, safe, adequate training, everything that we can be doing for them? I'm sure that they feel anxious and stuff.
I certainly won't speak for all of them. I don't know if Myrna is interested in talking. I have certainly spoken to a few as a group and talked about, how they were feeling, and most of them were angry that it happened and didn't understand how it could happen. That was
Right.
that was what I was getting as a return from the bus drivers that I got to, and I can't remember, Myrna, if you and I talked about those incidents specifically or not.
I tend to agree with Brian on that. People are angry about it. The drivers seem to, as I was talking around, I guess I should have asked if it was okay to speak. Yeah, overall, I do think that, we need to make more money for training them. That's my honest opinion. Because I think they're gonna go around and checking training records, because they was telling on TV last night, the state was gonna put some investigating in.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's my 2 cents worth. I definitely am angry about what went on, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But
And not knowing anything about what happened.
Right.
And other than, obviously, the biggest points, that the 2 kids were killed.
Yeah.
But the bus drivers, I talk to them, I think the lesson learned here for everybody is you can't let down your guard ever. Head on a swivel at all times, situational awareness, 3 off, you're counting 3 off, making sure that you're seeing 3 going away from the bus. Don't take your foot off the brake and put it on and apply it to the gas pedal until you know for sure that everything around you is safe.
So one thing, I've noticed, when I would get on the bus when I was a kid, if I was crossing the bus, you had to look at the bus driver to ask permission if it was okay to go. Even though you looked yourself, it was just a double check. But I ask my kids that all the time, do you have to do that? Do you check with the bus driver? And they're like, no, you just go. So I'm just curious if that has changed or that.
That is, not knowing the specifics on
Right.
with your run, but no, we absolutely do that.
Okay.
In fact, we just had an incident yesterday where the bus driver was saying stop, and the parent was on the other side of the road saying come on. But the parent couldn't see the truck that was coming up on the back of the bus at an excessive speed, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So thankfully, the student listened to the bus driver.
Brian, or, no, I think Myrna would like to.
Sorry, I didn't see you, go ahead.
Sorry, to that question about anyone on my bus, I guarantee you they'll tell you they have to wait for the signal to go across.
Well, it's good to know.
And I was behind
Thumbs up.
my daughter's bus driver yesterday, and when he stops, he pulls this way as well. So he's pulling his whole bus across the other lane,
Yeah.
so that a car can't, because so many, believe it or not only do cars pass us coming at us, they pass us from behind us now too.
Just,
They just don't care, they just don't wait. And I realize that's not what happened in this situation, but,
still,
yeah.
it's insane.
We've only got a couple of buses that have the outside cameras on them, and we're getting 4, 5, 6 probably 10 a month of cars going past buses on,
With the lights on?
absolutely.
Well, so our
Unreal.
buses aren't all, so if our buses aren't all equipped with those outside cameras, is that, I don't know, I know you said that they're on this new bus, but
As we bring the new buses in, we will upgrade. Those weren't, I can't speak to whether they were accessory, they just didn't choose, or they really weren't used at the time as the buses have been purchased.
yeah,
I will tell you that the technology on the buses is a steep climb. I mean, it's moving, all the kind of things that we see on cars, the lane change, sensors, all that kind of stuff, that's all, I just read an article on the new buses that First Student just got for down in my area in Woolwich, that they got a brand new fleet of fully decked out, with the sensors all the way around, and, as fancy a car as you could see, as far as sensors, they've got the same thing on them. So we'll continue to try to, keep up with technology to the best we can.
yeah.
One other thing that I've been noticing lately that is becoming even more of a problem is cell phones. The kids will get off the bus, take the phone out of their pocket and try to be watching that when they go across the road. Those, I'll say nothing, but anyhow, they are beginning to be a problem that way now.
They just can't handle a few seconds to cross the road without having their phone out. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, go downtown, walk downtown Bath. I was just happened to be downtown Bath last night, and people are walking towards you and they don't even see you because they're on their phone, so.
They got a screen in front.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But
and that's more important than anything.
I think that we are seeing that bus drivers are having to deal with more and more. And we've talked about the behaviors on the buses. There is a lot of things happening simultaneously that a bus driver is having to process and make on-the-spot decisions continuously. And you listen to on the radio, and it's not often pretty listening to the radio and the chatter and the dance that's going on to keep 7 schools or 5 schools worth of buses going, but it works. There are certainly some times when we drop the ball, but I think overall we trying to keep everything moving and keep everything coordinated and making sure that everybody knows what the other person's doing. I think we do a pretty good job.
I would say so too, especially, and there's always something, I mean, today, a major distraction I had when a kid pick up a backpack and throw it the length of the bus while I was going down 17, I could see something going, well, it wasn't the length of the bus, but they were throwing the backpack. And you try to drive when you've got kids doing that, and the other one's sitting there hollering to you all the time, and one saying, I'm gonna be sick, and that.
Yeah, but you didn't pay me enough to do that, so.
Rick, I saw your hand up earlier.
Yeah, it's a little off topic, but it has to do with the buses. Is there any update on the software deployment for the buses, the iPads that were?
Bus rate?
Yeah,
Oh, the bus rate?
Yeah.
So we continue to deploy them out onto the buses. So we've got, about half the fleet now has the tablets, and Sarah, is that about right?
Yeah.
Give or take?
I have a couple more routes that I'm nailing down. I have been a tremendous pain in poor Cooper's side.
Cooper was with our IT department, in case you were wondering.
Well, as of right now anyway, unless
Yes.
Sarah keeps adding.
Just a quick example of some of the issues that we're running into. We're using me as a test subject. I have 2 kids in the district. And when you look at bus rate for me, initially.
This would be the parent app that she's talking about.
Yeah, initially, my daughter came up as my son's guardian. And then Cooper worked with them to adjust that, and that's not how it reads in IC, but that's how it's pulling, their information into their system. So they worked that kink out. Now, it only shows my husband. It doesn't show me at all. So there's still so many glitches with just the simple pulling of information from IC. We have been working, we've talked with Ian a couple of different times about the best way to get the most accurate information from families. Because we still have, when we send out notifications about buses, we still have families that aren't touched by that. Their phone numbers don't work, their emails don't work, they have it set up that they don't want any. So there's a lot of inaccurate information in IC. So trying to weed through that, and then the kinks that we're working out with how our information is pulling into their system. Cooper has put in a lot of time. I appreciate that a lot. We're working on it.
Thank you.
I can't imagine anyone checking the box on the cell phone thing thinking, I don't wanna hear from Sarah. Nice.
Does anyone else have anything else? All right, it is 5:47. We are adjourned.